Ratios. For a lot of us, that word just brings back, well, let's just say not so fond memories of confusing math problems, right? But what if I told you the secret to totally nailing them wasn't some complicated formula, but a simple beat? Well, today we're going to break down a really cool rhythmic trick that can help you conquer ratios for good.
I know. It sounds almost too simple to be true, doesn't it? A beat to solve math problems? But trust me, using a steady, simple count can be your secret weapon. It literally turns these tricky ratio problems into something you can feel and really understand. So let's dive in and see how it actually works.
Okay, so first things first, let's just do a super quick refresher so we're all on the same page. A ratio? It's not about adding things up to get a total. Nope. It's all about comparison. It just shows the relationship. For every bit of this, you've got a certain amount of that. And getting that relationship is, well, it's everything. That's the key.
Now, because ratios are all about these relationships, it is so easy to fall into a few common traps. And hey, if you've ever been staring at a ratio problem just feeling completely stuck, I'm willing to bet you've fallen into one of these. We've all been there. So let's shine a big ol' spotlight on them so we know exactly what to look out for. All right, here's the big one. Trap number 1. You see a ratio, maybe it's 3 to 5, and your brain immediately screams, add them, it's 8. It's such a natural instinct, but with ratios, it's the wrong one. A 3 to 5 ratio doesn't mean you have a total of 8 things. It means for every 3 of thing A, you have 5 of thing B. So the big takeaway here is compare, don't combine. Okay, on to trap number 2, and this one is all about order. Think about it. A ratio of cats to dogs is a totally different universe from a ratio of dogs to cats. If you flip those numbers, you completely flip the meaning of the story you're telling. With ratios, you've got to remember, the order is, well, it's everything. And finally, trap number 3, this what I call losing the plot. You know what I mean? You get so focused on just the numbers themselves, the 8, the 2, the 5, that you completely forget what they even stand for. Wait, was 8 the apples or the oranges? When those numbers get disconnected from their real-world meaning, you're not doing math anymore. You're just pushing digits around. It's a recipe for disaster. So, how do we dodge all 3 of those pesky traps in one go? Well, there's a really simple, kinda elegant solution. Let's get into what we're calling the 8-count beat method. It's specifically designed to keep you grounded, focused, and totally on point. Okay, now this is what's so brilliant about this method. It actually uses rhythm to force your brain to be logical. Seriously. By giving a certain number of beats to each part of the ratio, you're creating a physical, audible count. It makes you slow down, and it keeps that relationship between the numbers crystal clear. It's basically math that you can feel. How cool is that? And look, it breaks down into 3 super easy steps. It's dead simple. First, you just figure out the 2 things you're comparing. Second, you assign the right number of beats to each of those things from the ratio. And third, if you need to scale it up, you just repeat the beat pattern. That's it. Simple, right? Let's actually put it into action. All right, time to make this real. We're going to use a super common example you'd see anywhere online, the ratio of likes to laughs. So here's our problem. The ratio is 8 likes for every 2 laughs. Now remember, that order is absolutely crucial. It's likes to laughs. That means the first number, 8, that belongs to likes, and the second number, 2, belongs to laughs. Okay. We've got our setup. Let's assign the beats. All right, first up, likes. They come first in the ratio, so they get the 8 beats. Let's do it nice and steady. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Boom! That's our beat for likes. And next up, we have laughs. They get 2 beats. 1, 2. So you see, the full pattern is that 8 count for likes, immediately followed by the 2 count for laughs. That whole sequence, that is our ratio, locked in rhythm. Now this is where the magic really happens. What if we need to scale this whole thing up? Easy. We just repeat the beat. So if we go through the pattern once, we get 8 likes and 2 laughs. We do it twice, we've got 16 likes and 4 laughs. 3 times, 24 likes and 6 laughs. See how that works? The core relationship, that 8 to 2 ratio, it stays exactly the same. We're just scaling it up with rhythm. Okay, so you might be thinking this is just a cute little trick, right? But it's not a gimmick. There's actually some real brain science behind why this simple beat method is so darn effective at stopping us from making those common mistakes. So why does this work so well?
First off, it slows you down. That steady beat forces you to pause instead of rushing and making a silly mistake. It also completely prevents you from switching the numbers or the order because you're physically counting 8 for likes, then 2 for laughs. It keeps those numbers directly connected to their meaning. Goodbye, trap number 3. And, of course, it makes scaling super predictable and simple. All of this adds up to one huge thing. It builds real confidence when you're staring down a test question. You're turning an abstract problem into something concrete and rhythmic.
Look, if you remember only one single thing from all of this, let it be this right here. Seriously, ratios are comparisons, not totals. Just burn that into your brain. Every time you see a ratio problem, that should be your mantra. You are always looking at a relationship, not just mushing numbers together into a sum.
And that really leaves us with one final thought, doesn't it? This whole method, it's about more than just ratios. It's a way of thinking. It's about finding a simple, tangible rhythm to break down something that seems complicated and overwhelming. So I'll leave you with this question. What's the next challenge you're facing, whether it's in math or work or anywhere else, that you could conquer with a simple, steady beat?